right, Jet Set. I don't care if you can bend, baby. I'm fast. Not the hook on hook. That was hot. You better whip and you better nay-nay. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Avatar: The Last Airbender, the Netflix adaptation. We're now on to episode 3, which is called Omashu. Exciting. So last episode, we had our heroes end up on Kyoshi Island so that Aang could potentially learn more about what it is to be the Avatar and, more importantly, how to control the Avatar state. And he did get some valuable knowledge and he was able to commune with Kyoshi. But of course, he really can't go unnoticed flying on a giant water bison or sky bison. So word definitely traveled throughout the area and to the people in the Fire Nation that there was something strange going on this island, which tipped off Zuko and eventually also tipped off Commander Zhao, who is now after the Avatar for himself because he wants the glory that will go along with having this great capture. And so we see that Aang and his friends ended up having to leave the island, but not before Kyoshi, using Aang's body, made an appearance and absolutely slapped those Fire Nation kids right back onto their boats and inspiring the people of Kyoshi Island to believe in him and the fact that there's a chance that their future might be different than their not so fun recent past. So now we have them leaving. They said they have to head north because Avatar Kyoshi said they need to head to the northern tribe to avert a disaster that's going to happen very soon. So that's where our trio is going and we are going to follow along with them. So let's jump into the episode. But just before I do, if you'd like to be notified of when I do uploads for this show or anything else you might be watching of me, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And if you like this video, please show some love to it by liking it and leaving some comments below. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right about now.
We strike tonight. Shouldn't we wait? We don't have the numbers.
We don't need the numbers.
We don't need numbers.
Damn.
Like all of us, she has lost too much.
Come forward.
Courage. So must we all.
Fire
Lord Ozai must die tonight!
Wow, we're just going straight for that, huh? Y'all, Firelight Ozai's he's no joke. Fire Zaddy is no joke, y'all. He's no joke. He actually has skills to back up that bravado. Bro, really? This is like the biggest wide open hall there is. The worst place ever to stage an attack. That girl, she totally screwed y'all over.
Fire Nation citizens would have welcomed being freed from your tyranny.
Tyranny? Don't you mean unity?
No, he said what he said.
The greatest nation in the world.
That line has always been led by people who do terrible things.
How many more lives?
None that matter to him.
A century of loss and suffering.
We in the Fire Nation have always prided ourselves on our resourcefulness.
Sorry, you should have known that was a spy.
Azula.
The hair! No, I had no idea. You look completely different. It's like a Clark Kent moment, taking off the glasses.
But there is one out there who cannot be stopped. The one who will restore balance to the world.
Period.
The one who has returned to us.
Well, Ozai, if you weren't scared, you probably wouldn't have burned them up. Oh, Azula, you twisted little...
The one who restored balance to the world. Zuko has found the Avatar?
Yes, he did.
Your brother has done the impossible.
Catch up.
Just as I'd asked.
Now what are you gonna do, crazy? Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have a very inherent bias against Azula. But, we'll see how she does in this show. They might give her a bit of a different spin. But in the show, gonna try fresh. I said I was gonna watch it with fresh eyes. Don't do it, Aisha. Fresh character. I mean, listen, if I'm ready to forgive Fire Zaddy, I should really open the door first.
The water whip. Arms.
Watch her whip.
Shift.
Watch her nay-nay.
But when you get into the harder moves, like the water whip, you really need to reach inside and feel the energy flow.
Like he said, super easy.
Tap into your feelings and gather energy from them. Tap into your feelings.
Them feels. Yep, that'll bring up some emotions. Pretty harsh ones.
All the more reason for us to get to the Northern Water Tribe, right?
That's right. We've got the best waterbending masters in the world.
I love how optimistic Aang always is. He's just a ball of light.
I liked her too.
Nice, sister-in-law.
That's no mountain. That's a marshu. Papa, yip yip.
Could you let them know what's going on?
You allow me to contact a few trusted sources. They don't need to be told any more than necessary.
Ugh, the way he's playing like Zuko has any authority over what's happening. I know, I don't like him either.
I don't like him.
The look was enough.
And they have an incredible delivery system that winds through the whole city. And the people there, they're artists, scientists, builders, plus food there is amazing.
Really? Aang should be the tour guide for all the places on this whole earth. Like, the way he sells it, I want to go to Amashu. Like, book me a flight right now. Damn! Not the cabbages!
They don't take kindly to outsiders in Amashu.
What makes you think we're outsiders?
Outside your garb?
No reason.
Right? Like, we're color-coded out here.
We just could use a little help getting inside.
Work that smile, girl. And the eyes. Could you help us?
Sure you can make that look good too.
I mean, you're not wrong. You didn't lie.
So how do you know we're not a threat?
I don't.
Just the feeling. Oh wow.
Come on. Your line's back at Kyoshi Island, sir. You shouldn't be old boying anybody. You should be taking notes. The only reason you got as far as you did is because you cute or whatever.
My brother-in-law would agree if he could speak.
Struck mute at birth.
Nice. Though that would be tiring, having to do that with every person going in. Hold on, let's... 2 minutes later, here we go.
And be careful.
I will.
Amashu can be a dangerous place.
Could you protect me, good sir? No? Until next time. Watch your stick, bro. Cabbages! We needed it. It had to happen.
You're not an airbender.
Rude.
Of course I'm not.
Ah!
He's an airbender.
Shh. No, he's not. Just happened to be a little bit of breeze going the exact same direction.
Thank you.
Katara.
My name is Sai.
You gave your real name? These kids are terrible at spy missions.
You're an airbender. Do you realize what this means? We finally have a way to take the fight to the enemy. You could drop bombs on them. Rain down.
Whoa, that's the first thing you think of?
Pretty great, huh? That's the mechanist to the king of Omashu.
Really? Make some mechanisms for me.
Like a delivery system. You've seen it, right?
It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Aw, daddy's boy.
Just promise me. You'll really stick it to the firebenders. Make them pay.
Wow. It's really not Aang's way, but I understand.
Those are for cleaning under your toenails.
I mean, that's not the worst body part. Come on. It gets funky under there, but there's worse places.
Didn't Kyoshi tell you had to get there to prevent a tragedy?
Yes, and I'm gonna do that. But I have to do this too.
A boy's got to live with himself.
I have to do it one person at a time.
Okay, give them with that old school knowledge.
Technically, he is first in line to be Fire Lord.
Let her know.
Not that he deserves to be.
He doesn't.
Sure.
But now he has hope.
They're like, what do you want us to do about that?
You pretend like you don't care what's going on out there, but I know you hate the Fire Nation as much. I mean, why else would you build all this if not to help our army? Like this.
A tinker or tinks?
Uncle Iroh and I will go. No one else.
Period.
As you wish. I trust you understand the danger.
I've been out here by myself for 3 years, bro.
We know what it means to be on our own.
If you haven't noticed. Do not disrespect Uncle Iroh. Remember the Dragon of the West? Okay.
But that means the Mechanist is a...
Traitor.
Really? Y'all didn't realize he was a Fire Nation spy in that giant red jacket? Wow, those be shiny. Mm-hmm. I see them hooks, Jet.
Who are you?
Who am I
You
indeed?
can call me Jet.
So cool. So cool. I love this whole story around how his dad made Teo these wings even though he can't walk. Aang doing nothing to be inconspicuous at all when he's being chased. Okay, Jet said, I don't care if you can bend, baby. I'm fast. Not the hook on hook. That was hot. You better whip and you better nay-nay. That's right. Wet him up.
Oh, yeah. I brought friends too.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not silly. I just need to know how many of y'all there were. Oh, God, hello, Fee-Fi-Fo.
Nice moves. I had a feeling you knew how to handle yourself.
Fairly new to it, but you know, doing all right.
You coming?
The reed in the mouth. She's like, I sense something's probably not right here, but he's hot, so I don't care.
The world is filled with warriors.
Is it?
There are far too few great engineers.
That is true. But you can be both.
I want him to see that we have to do everything we can to save the world. Because if not us, then who?
This kid's got the most amazing eyes.
Welcome.
Looks great. Got that whole rustic chic decor going on.
So you just took it on yourselves to fight the Firebenders?
Why not?
If not us, then who?
If not now, then when? Oh, it's not a chant? Okay.
Someone was here recently.
Y'all are way too carefree for possibly being in a spy's hideout, is all I'm saying.
When the Fire Nation came to our village, she held them off. Well, my dad hid me in a well.
She's like, bringing up a bit of repressed trauma for me here, bro. We just met.
What do you remember when you think of your mother?
Let's go to the warmer things.
How she died.
Yeah.
When she was alive.
Thank you, because I'm like the last few moments. Let's not recall that too much. Yeah, see, isn't that a warmer memory? That's what she'd want you to remember. Sir, that's somebody's bucket. But yay, water whip!
We don't have to be afraid of our pain. We just need to decide what we're gonna do with it.
Those are bars. It can be channeled into negative or positive things. But you do have to let yourself feel it. Otherwise, it tends to take the negative route.
What are you doing?
Trying some Omashu barbecue.
Yeah, my man's like, I am never gonna pass up some food.
Stench?
Paisho!
Not right. Warriors don't hide their faces in a fight. Father would never approve of this underhanded tactic.
You sure? I don't think he really cares at this point.
Who knows where true north lies in the Fire Nation?
Exactly. Once again, listen to the man that's known your father since birth.
If you kept me informed of the progress of your mission, particularly as it relates to Prince Zuko.
Who taught her to read? When your sister is your biggest op. And it stinks, you know, because I want to root for the girls. I always want to root for the girls. But that one...
You know the officer on Prince Zuko's crew, the one who slipped you the information about the Avatar? Lieutenant Chi. I'd like to speak to him.
And he's going to sing like a canary. Why? Because you were a jerk to him. Always treat everyone with respect, people, no matter how low their position may be. You never know, it might come back to bite you.
He didn't lie.
He didn't tell the truth.
Because he couldn't. He's fighting the Firebenders and he has to protect himself.
Man, why are you raising your voice? You've known this man for 5 hours.
This is just like you, Katara. Willing to believe anything as long as it helps you.
This is just like you. Never believing anything.
I mean,
say.
you were ready to
So
fall. Look,
sick.
why is she not allowed to fall for people? You fell for someone at the last stop. Why can't she get a little love?
To prove you're a jerk.
Oh, yeah? Well, I don't need proof of that.
That didn't come out right. That didn't come out right. But I appreciate the effort. The cabbages!
Would you like to try one of
Not right now.
I love it, they won't say the word.
It's fine.
I'm so clumsy. Are you hurt?
No, no, no. No harm done. Okay. No harm done.
Someone just took your stuff.
This is our chance to burn out this city's diseased heart.
And the child?
Innocent people are gonna die, Jet.
Or did you forget about that part?
That's the price of freedom.
See, now you sound like the Fire Nation.
There's nothing you can do to stop it.
You run a bet?
Right. Shut up and gloat later.
It's at the highest point of the city.
And then this jackass, I ain't got time for you.
This is my fight.
Yeah, he's like, I'm actually annoyed because I've got things to do that are more important than you.
I don't need fire to defeat this boy.
Okay. You forgot that he trained as a monk since birth, hey? As long as you feel strong. Fighting a boy. Hey, that's someone's hard effort and work and artistry. That's funny. Yay! That's right. How dare you hit a child? What is wrong with you? I love how they're using the environment for this fight. This is so smart.
Ready?
Come on, let's go.
2.
Vin Diesel could never. Hey! Shattered all your kneecaps up, but it's all right.
And that's it? That's why you've been hunting me for 3 years?
Right? Like, do you know how that sounds? Don't know.
You have my notebook.
No, not the... He said it at last! Yes! Not today, not a Katara's watch, baby. Aim true! Aim true! Whew. Good job. Teamwork is dream work, baby.
We must leave.
Yeah, look what you did. Look what you did.
Go. Save yourself.
What?
Not Uncle I with a distraction. Run, Zuko, hello? Hope you feel guilty, because honestly, this could all would have avoided if you'd listened to your uncle. What did he tell you? Chill. What did you not do? Chill. Well done, Aang. Uh-oh. His face. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not Fire Nation, right? Like, I'm not the... No? Okay. Got it. Sure. I guess I'm in trouble too. Oh my gosh. This show is so fun, you guys. It's so much fun. I'm loving it. I feel like they're doing such a good job of capturing the spirit of the show, which is that first and foremost, it was kind of fun and lighthearted. It definitely deals with some very heavy topics, but at the base, it is around a 12-year-old boy who's trying to like enjoy his life while also dealing with this crazy heavy responsibility. And I feel like this episode was a great representation of kind of the fun way that Aang does things. That fight he had with Zuko was so good. I love the choreography of it. Them using the environment, them showing that like Aang doesn't want to hurt people. It's not that he doesn't have the skills, right? He's been training since he was literally a baby. He probably has better martial arts skills than Zuko, but again, he doesn't want to hurt anyone. He doesn't want to hurt Zuko. So this is why he just tries to run away. He's avoiding. And again, we do know from last episode as well that Aang likes to avoid things that are not pleasant. But I really like that they incorporated that whole persona of Aang's into this fight, and even the throwing the plates and kind of doing the slapsticky ways of having Zuko hurt himself in the fight. Like, it was just so true to Aang's character. So kudos to the fight choreographers, there we go, who were responsible for that. Very much enjoyed it. But yes, this episode was really great, seeing the Earth City of Omashu and seeing that things, have definitely changed. Aang was so excited when going there, thinking that maybe, just maybe, A, he found another airbender, and B, he's going to this place he only dreamed of before. But just like so many things in this series, once he gets to the reality of it all, it's not so fun anymore. The reality is harsh. You know, Omashu has changed a lot, and it's not the wondrous city it used to be. People are still living in fear. There's a bit of, they didn't talk to it too much in the episode, but there is a bit of poverty happening. We've discovered that the king has become withdrawn and really is not fighting the good fight that they did at the beginning of the war. But again, remember, this has been over 100 years. So there's only so much you can do when you're constantly under siege. But anyway, we see that they discover this young flyer who, he's not an airbender, and Aang was very disappointed to find that out. However, he met this boy and his father, who is a tinkerer. And I really love that. Like I said in the episode, I like that his father created this flying machine for his son. You know, the symbolism of that, you know, he's not able to walk, but he's able to fly, right? That's just such a beautiful thing for a parent to give their child who, you know, in a world where in a world where being ambulatory is the norm, to make something like this for his son so that he's not only able to get around, but able to do something that a lot of other people can't. It was really beautiful. And again, it just symbolizes that love that exists between father and son. But we see that they're on different pages about how to view the world. We have the son who very much wants to do what he can to get the Fire Nation out of Omashu and to continue the fight against the Fire Nation's very unholy crusade. But his dad, who's just in survival mode, which is understandable. We heard that unfortunately he lost his wife to this whole war. And when you've lost someone like that, and again, him having this young child to have to care for afterwards, you completely understand his side of the story and why he feels like keeping his head down and not causing trouble is the way to go. Much like we saw last episode with the people in Kyoshi Island. You understand the survival instincts, but nothing changes when you don't stand up and push back. And that's really what the son already understood. And we know as well that Aang's understanding that slowly as well. But yes, that was a really cute story with the two of them. And then we got to see another side of Sokka, that he's actually got a really good brain for engineering. And, you know, we heard that beautiful speech with him and the father, where the father said, you know, you don't have to just follow what the expectations of you are from your family, from your tribe. If you have a talent or a destiny, you should chase that and follow it with all your heart, no matter what. And so I think Sokka needed to hear that, because I think he absolutely wants to make his father proud, but he also has his own interests and things that really mean something to him. And as I said in the episode, it doesn't mean he can't be an engineer and a warrior. Why not? Like, I can't see how engineering would not help you be a better warrior, truthfully. But yeah, that was a really great way to expose another side of Sokka and show that he's not just a jock. Although I have to say, in this rendition of the show versus the animated one, they're definitely making Sokka more layered of a character already versus kind of what we saw in season 1 from the animated version. But yes, we saw Aang. Aang was very determined to help out the city of Omashu here. He knows he's got to get to the Northern Kingdom, but like he said, every time he sees the way things are and how things have changed so much, he's feeling the weight, the guilt of it all, thinking this is all my fault. Like, if I hadn't disappeared, things wouldn't be this way, which again, we don't know that for certain. I said back in episode 1, the reality is that Aang, with the skill level that he had at the time and his age, he probably would not have been able to stop the Fire Nation that night. But I understand why he's basically like, what else am I supposed to believe, since everyone's telling me the Avatar was the one who was supposed to stop this? So yeah, there was a few things that were not quite right with what went down that night. But anyway, understandably, Aang is feeling very guilty. And so he wants to stay behind and he wants to help this city out. There's clearly an issue with some people who've been exploding places in Omashu, and he wants to find out who it is. I mean, he's been told it's Fire Nation spies, but it doesn't really add up, because even though there could be spies, Fire Nation is not allowed in Omashu, and there's enough of a military there that it would not be easy for spies to do what they're doing. So Aang's staying around to figure out what's going on with that and investigate with the son. They're able to figure out pretty quickly that it's not the Fire Nation that's starting these explosions. It's in fact someone that they just met, which is Jet. Yes, for those of us who actually watched the animated series, Jet was a character that a lot of people were excited about. I liked his character in the animated series, and in this one, I feel like they even gave him a little bit more charm than he had in the animated one. But yes, Jet is a freedom fighter. He is the leader of a band of, I don't know, lost boys and girls, one could say. As he said, these are orphans and refugees from different parts of the nation that the Fire Nation has unfortunately ravaged, and they are taking all of that anger and that pain and that sadness and turning that into their cause to fight against the Fire Nation, which we saw with Katara. She ended up spending the day with them. This touched her a lot because, much like Jet, she knows what it is to lose a parent to the Fire Nation directly, and she shares that trauma. But she didn't recognize until later on that Jet and his group's way of fighting is really not any better than the Fire Nation's. And this is understandable. Like, I do understand where Jet is coming from. There are people who feel that when you've been wronged and terrible things have happened to you, that the only way to fight back is to fight back in kind. You know, you might have heard the expression of like, the only way to defeat a devil is to become one, but it really is not the only way, and you lose yourself when you do things like that. And that's what happened with Jet, unfortunately. The fact that he was destroying these homes and businesses, the fact that we saw that it wasn't just the warehouse that he took out with that latest explosion, it was also, we saw how many people got injured. People probably lost their jobs, their livelihood. Like, the ripple effect was so much bigger, and he just couldn't see that because he was so focused on the idea of hurting the people who hurt him. And again, in that first explosion, the people he wanted to hurt weren't even there. He ended up having to do it later on in the forest. So again, it's just that blind desire for revenge. He just wasn't able to see that it was doing just as much harm, if not more, than what the Fire Nation had done. And so we see that Katara, when she found out the truth, of course she didn't want to believe it because she already had a little crush. Let's not pretend she wasn't feeling that, that smile and them smooth lines. And listen, in another time, her and Jet maybe could have been a thing, but Katara couldn't get behind the hurting of innocent people. And then, of course, hearing their ultimate plan, which was to take out the king, because Jet feels like it's because of the king that things have gotten this bad, that he set up this plan, this assassination plot. But we see that thankfully Katara was able to get up there and use her water bending, that actually, thanks to Jet telling her to focus on the good things about her mom rather than the bad things, she was able to finally get more control over her bending. Like Aang said earlier, she had to find her emotions and tap into it for those harder things. And that's what she did when it mattered. So thankfully she was able to stop that plot and at least foil Jet for now. But we know that Jet is still out there, and whether or not they're going to be able to do anything about him, we'll have to see. But that was obviously a hard lesson for her and disappointing, because she really liked the idea of making these new friends. And it's just sad that it turns out that these new friends are not going to be the kind that she can stick around with or get behind. So, but yes, it was another really good episode. As I said, I think once again, they just did a great job with all the messages and all of the interactions. And of course, the bending looked amazing. Seeing the fight scene, like I said, the highlight was a fight between Aang and Zuko in this episode. And again, we got to meet, I almost forgot, Azula. We finally got introduced to Azula. Whoo, girl. Yeah, as I said in the episode, in the animated series, me and Azula, we got beef. We fighting, all right? It's on sight. However, we're going to give her a new shot here. This is a new medium, so I'm trying my best not to come in with too much attitude where she's concerned. So I'm sorry if a few things slip out, guys. Forgive me. I'm trying my best. But I have to say, already they've kind of done two things that I think are going to really help with giving Azula a bit more of a rounded journey in this particular medium. One is that the actress that they chose actually has a very childlike face. And I think that's really important, because in the animated series, Azula's got a very angular, very hard face. And I know it shouldn't make a difference, but it does. The fact that Azula in the animated version kind of looked more like a hardened villain, for lack of a better term, versus this actress who looks a lot more like a young girl, which is what Azula is. It really helps, at least for me, to kind of take away from the undercurrent of possible evil that could be going on there. And again, we need to know more about Azula's mindset as to why she is the way she was. In the animated series, this is a bit of a spoiler, so again, if you haven't watched it and you plan on watching it, you can skip this part. But in the animated series, we never really get a lot of insight into why Azula does what she does. Everything we hear about Azula is pretty much from Zuko's point of view, and a little bit from her friends as well, but we don't hear a lot from Azula herself. And so unfortunately, it paints a very one-dimensional picture of her, and it's sad, but I understand in something this large, or back then, that they probably just didn't think building Azula up was necessary, because she very much served as a plot point for Zuko. But since we brought her into this show, I'm really hoping that we get a little bit more of why Azula ticks the way that she does. And we already got a little bit of that in this episode, which I'm grateful for. Hearing what she said about how she's worked so hard, done everything her dad has said, risked her life, done all these things trying to get her dad to see her and to recognize her and to see her potential. And then to see that that could all get wiped away because her brother has done something. One thing that his dad asked him to do, which again, in fairness, it was a very hard task, but still, I see where she's coming from. And while the show may not delve into it too much, I do think a lot of this is going to stem from the fact that as a woman, as a girl, Azula doesn't have the option to become a Fire Lord, even though she might be the best person for the job. And as the show goes on, we'll see if they touch on the fact that, you know, in the anime, Azula is, at least at this point, in the early points, by far the better bender out of her and Zuko. She's better at martial arts. She's much more in the Fire Lord mindset, at least according to what her dad wants a Fire Lord to be. So it really should be a clear choice for her to be the successor. And so you understand why she's so frustrated at the fact that her dad is impressed over Zuko doing this task that he thought was impossible. And then he's like, oh, but I asked him to do it and it's impossible. So that's great. You know, like, I get where she's coming from. The idea that everything she's done is washed away by one thing, right? So I like that they're touching on that and giving us a little bit of that understanding of why Azula is this way and why she wants to stay ahead of what her brother's doing. And again, what I'm hoping for in this show is that they don't, like the anime, I'm hoping that they at least create some level of a relationship between her and Zuko. Like, I know they're not close, they're never going to be, but just something, because I just feel like that was something that was really missing and it could have been a much better storytelling point in the animated version, is if there is some level of a relationship there that unfortunately gets poisoned and tainted over time because of Ozai's desire to pit them against each other. So anyway, we'll see if that's what the show does, but I feel like they're going to give Azula a little bit more fleshing out, and I'm excited to see that because I think she is a dynamic, or could be a dynamic character, but in the other version, wasn't about it. So they didn't do that, and I was not about it. So anyway, but yeah, another really good episode overall. I think the show is doing a great job so far. So yeah, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I hope you guys enjoyed watching with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.